Hello, my name is Jimmy Fitch, and you are listening to Nobody's Hearing This, the podcast that nobody's hearing. And that's okay if you're not hearing this or watching this. I don't judge you. So today I'm solo. This is only going to be a shorty. This is going to be a short podcast because I'm just going to be catching up just to make sure that we are uploading consistently. But that's okay. That's the YouTube game, right? That's how you got to do it. So with this solo episode of Nobody's Hearing This, I thought I'd hit you with a little bit of a solo review of Solo, a Star Wars story. All right. So I went into it not really looking forward to it. I was a little bit tarnished with Rogue One. I thought that movie was a huge fucking mess. There was a ton of reshoots apparently. It's the original cut was just like, I don't know. It's supposedly, I think it went too dark or something like that, so they tried to clean it up a little bit. But you can just tell that movie was just a mess just from watching it. Not even like from a production student standpoint. I know some people just don't like that movie just because of it was weirdly toned and I don't know. But so I was going into Solo not expecting to like it. And I think I had a right to. Let me just do up a quick search. So first I was hit from the side of I wasn't really too fond of the actor who was playing Han Solo, because I really thought that Anthony Ingruber would have done amazing as young Han Solo. Supposedly he was already in a movie where he played a younger version of Harrison Ford, but I thought he was just gonna be like perfect for it. His Solo impression was just like on fucking point. But the person who actually played him was Alden Ehrenreich, something like that. So right off the bat, I was hit with it, and I was like, I don't know, really a young Han Solo. Whoa, my internet is just not having it right now. That's okay. We don't really need that right now. So we're hit with him and Emilia Clarke, who I knew was going to be in the movie. I'm not a huge fan of her, but she's pretty decent in Game of Thrones and in other forms of media. I didn't really like her in Terminator, whatever that new Terminator movie was. That was pretty much garbage. Genesis, that was the name of that movie. So we're kind of hit with like this cool 50s love story where they're going to go off into the space sunset and then see all of the universe. That was kind of their plan, but they turned out to get separated by the Empire. And so during that time, Han meets Chewie. Their meeting was pretty interesting. Han was thrown into prison for basically being not a deserter, but just being going against the Empire, because he was originally working with the Empire, just, as a soldier, as a grunt. He wanted to learn how to be a pilot. Supposedly he went into pilot school and got kicked out. So he tries to get up with Woody Harrelson and Thandie Newton. I'm not a huge fan of Thandie Newton, but I do like Woody Harrelson. Thandie Newton just, I don't know. I think she's overrated, but that's just my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of her in Westworld. I'm not a huge fan of Westworld season 2 either, but that's for another podcast, I suppose. So Han is thrown into basically a jail, and it almost looks like the Rancor pit. And I was like, oh shit, are we about to go see the baby Rancor? But no, it was Chewbacca, who hasn't been fed in a few days apparently. So we're expecting to see Han get eaten by Chewbacca, but of course we know that doesn't happen, and he convinces him to help them escape because he knows how to speak Wookiee. I thought that was pretty cute. So then they eventually do see Emilia Clarke again after she's working with this guy that Woody Harrelson is also working for. We don't really know what she is up to, but it probably wasn't good. So I'm not going to go on spoiling it and all, but we saw the things that we expected to see. We expected to see the Kessel Run, because that was the big thing that was mentioned in A New Hope, and then brought back in what's the name of the new one? Force Awakens. Did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. I always thought parsecs was time, because of that comment, because I don't know, not really something to brag about, of making a shorter distance than shorter time. It's like, oh man, I got to Six Flags in 12 miles. It's like, how, okay. I mean, would you take the highway? I mean, whatever. But so that I expected to see that. That was, of course, done on the Millennium Falcon. That Solo eventually won from, what's his name, Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian, who is the perfect casting choice. I don't know who else would have played him. But yeah, so acting was pretty decent in this movie. I was starting to really enjoy the actor who played young Han Solo towards the end of the movie. I thought he did a pretty good job. And his scenes with Chewie were really good. They had a good chemistry going on. And let's see. Woody Harrelson was pretty decent. Thandie Newton I thought was okay. She wasn't in that movie as much as I thought she would be. Emilia Clarke was okay, as expected. Donald Glover was great. Yeah, those were the big ones, right? All right, let's go into the director's debacle. Supposedly, it was originally written by the directors of the Lego Movie. I know one of the guys directors of the Lego Movie. I don't know what both of them are. But apparently it was a little too off the beaten path and a little, I don't know, too comedic, a little too one-liner-y. And the execs at Lucasfilm / Disney were not a fan of it, so they got fired. So that's never a good sign in the middle of a movie, as we can tell from different things like Justice League. I mean, that wasn't him getting fired. That was just Zack Snyder leaving it for personal reasons, which I totally fucking understand. Just it's sad when movies have to take on different directors or whatever. But Suicide Squad was a big one. I don't think that was director's change, but that was just, I don't know, I guess that got edited like 40 different times. And then what that happened with Rogue One as well. There was a shit ton of reshoots. I don't remember why they had to reshoot a lot of those movies, a lot of those scenes of that movie. But it wasn't looking good. And Rogue One was just awful. But this movie was actually pretty flawless between the two cuts, from what I can tell. There was no parts in the movie where I was like, oh, that's definitely that director, or that's definitely that director. It seemed like he worked pretty well with what they already had shot. So it was a lot better than I expected. Cinematography was eh. It was really dark and gross. I don't know if that was done in editing. But I don't know. It was just murky and mucky and didn't really look too pretty. I know Red Letter Media commented on it, just saying how, I don't know, you can't even see some of the characters. And there were some scenes where I'm like, I just want to see you, please. Like, that's part of this movie is seeing the characters, you know? So that wasn't great. But it could have been worse. Some scenes it worked out fine, like when they're in the trenches fighting when Han was still in the Empire. I thought that was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. The one thing that was just the biggest fucking groaning moment of my entire existence of Star Wars movies was, so Han, you got a last name? No. Or who are your people? He's like, I got nobody. I'm all by myself. Han Solo. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Seriously? Like, I get that's like, that was part of his name from the original movie or whatever. Like, obviously, his name is Han Solo because he's a rogue. He's by himself all the time and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. A lot of the names are, like, on the point in those movies. Like, Darth Vader is, like, Dark Father, of course. So Han Solo, he's the one guy by himself, even though he has Chewbacca, but whatever. I only work by myself. But just to actually give him that, like, that's the reason for his name, is because he's by himself. Like, it's a little too on the head, too on the nose. But yeah, I don't know. There's a couple groaning moments like that. The robot character that was with Donald Glover, I thought she didn't need to be in the movie. It's kind of cool giving. It's almost like giving. Sorry, that's getting into like spoilers or whatever. But eventually, the robot dies. But she gets integrated into the Millennium Falcon, and then she becomes like the Millennium Falcon's navigation system. So it's kind of like the Falcon has like AI, and she's still living in the Falcon, giving like the Falcon a little bit of a, like, that's the spirit of the Millennium Falcon, if that makes any sense. I kind of like that aspect of it. So yeah, but supposedly it's not doing too well in the box office, and that's not that surprising to me. I think people are a little Star Warsed out. People weren't expecting to like this because they don't know how to feel about someone who's not Harrison Ford playing Han Solo. And a lot of people didn't like The Last Jedi. I liked The Last Jedi. It's not my favorite. I personally like the Force Awakens better than The Last Jedi. I thought they made some pretty ballsy moves, but excuse me, I thought it was okay. And I thought Solo was okay. I liked The Last Jedi better than Solo. Excuse me. Sorry, that's gross. Yeah, I like The Last Jedi better than Solo, but I don't think Solo was too far off. It was just it was like a feel-good movie. It was the epitome of a summer blockbuster. It wasn't too grand in size, and it had a little story to tell. And I would actually really enjoy seeing other Solo movies. Solo meaning Han Solo movies, not like Solo character movies. Supposedly they have fucking like everybody all set up for it now. Boba Fett, supposedly James Mangold is going to do a Boba Fett movie, which, oh man, I don't get everything about Boba Fett. I don't know. I think these standalone Star Wars movies are Star Wars' biggest mistake, in my personal opinion. But that's just how I feel. Just how I feel. But I would definitely like to see more Solo movies, because we didn't see Greedo, we didn't see Jabba. There's a lot to work with there. If they don't want to do a full film series based on it, maybe like a little short film series, couple little adventures, maybe like 20-minute adventures. That'd be really interesting to see. I would kill to see some Star Wars short films. See, I don't think Rogue One made a great full-length film, but a short film of Rogue One might have been fucking amazing. You don't know. Short films tell grand fucking stories in just a short amount of time. and then you can go watch another short film, and you're wasting less time, and you're getting 2 times the stories. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Short films are super underrated. But yeah, I really enjoyed Solo, and I hope everybody else does too. I definitely recommend it. Go out and see it.